Okay, guys, let's talk about reports in QuickBooks Online. First would be how to get there. So if you look on the left-hand panel here, you'll see the option for reports. So you can click on that. And then you'll see your three favorites here. That's what's by default when you first start your QuickBooks Online file. So you have accounts receivable aging summary, which is basically which customers owe you and how much they owe you. You have your balance sheet, which is the financial health, basically a company snapshot, if you will, of your business. And then you have your profit and loss, or your income statement. It has many names. Those are the three by default that are favorited. And then when you scroll down here, you see different categories and the different reports that are available for you to run in QuickBooks Online. Keep in mind, depending on your subscription level, you may have more or less reports to choose from. Right now I'm in the sample file, which is QuickBooks Plus. So if you have Simple Start, you will have less reports here. For example, so you won't have inventory reports, accounts payable, so like vendors who owes or what you owe type of reports, unpaid bills, things like that. You won't have those options either. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But so you'll see here, it starts out with business overview, which is just that, different types of overview reports. Who owes you? So this is more so, like I was saying before, of the accounts receivable type reports, the collections reports. Sales and customers, self-explanatory, some sales reports. What you owe, so this is more of accounts payable type stuff. Expenses and vendors, again, pretty self-explanatory. And then you have taxes, payroll, and then more of accountant type, so like journal entries, general ledgers, things like that. Statement of cash flows is here, so more of the financial type, reporting, and then again payroll. So what you can do on any of these reports, if you want to move them up here and keep them in your favorites, is just hit this star right here. So once you click that, let's say for example this profit and loss by total income, percentage of total income, you can just hit the star here, and then it brings it up here into your favorites so you can easily access it, so you don't have to scroll through, remember the right category and find the correct report. Also too, you can do any sort of searching here, so just type in a few letters and you'll see the results here. So if for example, if you want to get to unpaid bills, you just type in unpaid charges, and then you'll just see right here, unbilled charges, and then you can click on that and run the report. So let's take a look at here. So let's take a look at the profit and loss, for example. So again, if you just click on the link here, it'll bring you to your profit and loss. You have a few options. We're just basic kind of customizations is what we're going over in this video. So you have different date options. So you can just manually put the dates that you want to look for it to run the report through. So if you want to, for this year up to date, you can manually put January 1st until this date. Or you can hit this down arrow here and you have a lot of options here. So if you want to run it again for this year, you can choose this year to date. If you want to run it per quarter, you can choose this quarter. Another common one is, let's say it's the third of the month, you want to run it for the prior month, you can scroll down and click last month. That's another common one. Anytime you kind of want to refresh it, you can just hit this run report right here. Cash or accrual. I'm not going to get into much here what the difference is between the two. Most of the time I would say you'd benefit from running accrual reports as you go. And then if you file your taxes as cash, then you can run it at any time at the end of the year as a cash report. But probably most likely you'd be better off running accrual. And then you can go down and see your actual report, whether it's a profit and loss balance sheet, whatever it is. Anytime that you want to compare it to, let's say, a prior period, last year, last quarter, anything like that, this is where you can choose it right here under this compare another period. You can click that here, so you can click this box right here and you can do it as a percent change, a dollar change. So this would be the previous period. So if you chose last month, it'll compare it to the prior month. If this was last quarter and then you choose previous period, and then it'll show it for the last quarter, et cetera, et cetera. Or you can compare it to the previous year, or kind of customize it a little bit. So let's run it for a percent change so you get an idea of what that looks like. So it'll show the current period and then the previous period next to that, and then it'll say whether you chose that as a percentage change or a dollar change. It'll be in this column right here. So we don't have the option, we don't have the numbers here for it to run for the prior period, but usually it'll say a percentage change, increase, decrease here, or the dollar. Anytime you want to either export it as a PDF to email it to somebody, or to save it in your cloud storage, maybe, for example, or if you want to print it out, anything like that, you can click this button right here, kind of the export deal. And you can either export it to an Excel spreadsheet or, like I said before, to a PDF. So that's where you would do that there. Another kind of quick trick for you is if you, and I mentioned this before, if you can duplicate this. Might be beneficial, so you can run a profit and loss on one screen and then a balance sheet on another screen, so that way you can look at both reports, because some numbers in your balance sheet are reflected, like net income, for example, and your profit and loss. So you can kind of run two reports at once or more and compare them side by side. Let's take a look here at the balance sheet. So looking at the balance sheet, it's really a snapshot in time. So if you just want to make it for your current today, you can make it for today, or again, if you want to look at for the end of last month, you can do that as well. Another common thing probably would be comparing year to year in your balance sheet. So it's end of one year, you can compare it to the previous year by, again, choosing this option here. Another very, very beneficial thing to you, compare it this year versus last year. And then you can, if you want to put a percentage change or a dollar change, this is where you can do that here. Same as the profit and loss, just here on the balance sheet. You can click this back to report list here. We'll get into more detail in another video about management reports, but this is where you can create kind of custom package reports. This is a little bit better than, it looks better, it's cleaner, it's all in one package versus doing the individual PDFs as you go. But this is where you would start the process of creating different management report packages. And then if you do any sort of customizations, so let's do profit and loss, for example. Let's say we always want it to be, we wanted just a quick last month profit and loss, ran in cash, dollar change compared to last year. So let's say this is a report that we run and look at really often. What we can do is we can hit this save customization link right here after we choose our correct settings. Name it whatever we want. If you want to make a group, report group, you can do that here, but let's just hit save for now. And then anytime, again, when we go into the report screen, this is where it'll show up here in this custom reports link right here. You'll see the custom report that we just created. One more thing, if you're using Google Chrome, and I went over this before. So let's say we look at our statement of cash flows a lot. First thing we can do is hit that star to save it. Let's say we run it for last month. And what we can do, if you're using Chrome, browser, if it has bookmark capabilities, you can hit the bookmark and then actually save it in your browser. So you can save multiple reports if you check them very often. And then you can really easily, anytime you make a new tab, just click on the link and it'll take you right to the reports. And then from there, if you want, again, you can click this here. You can email it to yourself or to your manager. You can print it here, or you can export it as an Excel or PDF, and then if you want to store it in your cloud or whatever you do, you can do that really quick and easily.